The Building Better Relationships Journal and Meditation. We created the Building Better Relationships Journal and Meditation so you can magnetize the better relationships you want and focus on the positive role that you have in creating a better life through your relationships. We are excited for you to discover the gold within you that can help you manifest the love we all crave. The Building Better Relationships Journal has coaching questions that help you listen to the truth of what you want and what helps you to be empowered in love. The Building Better Relationships meditation is designed to strengthen your heart's ability to be that change you wish to see in the world. Why not download it now and think of it as a gift to those you love? If you love journaling and meditation, this is for you. Welcome to Building Better Relationships at Home and at Work with Angela and Patti podcast. This is Patti, a leadership and work-life balance coach from Arizona, USA.
And this is Angela, love and relationship coach from Sydney, Australia. And we are building better relationships with you.
Sharing new perspectives on being heart-centered at home and at work.
So you can draw on your inner power to make your relationships and the world a better place to be around.
Welcome to Building Better Relationships with Angela and Patti. In this episode, Angela and I will be discussing surviving social isolation. We are all experiencing this firsthand due to the coronavirus epidemic. Angela and I will give some tips and tricks on how to deal with social distancing and surviving isolation. Our prayers and thoughts go out to everyone who is affected by this virus.
Yeah, hi Patti. Thanks for Thanks for making this topic happen. There's a lot out there on the coronavirus, including the media and all sorts of tips and tricks. But I thought it would be an opportunity for us to share some of our tips and tricks on surviving social isolation. And I'm in Australia, so we have different things happening to you in Arizona. But it's ironic how similar the experience is that we're all experiencing. I'm sure It's different in other countries, but there's a lot of commonalities between all the countries at this time, which is an incredible opportunity for humanity.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Here, the schools have closed down, restaurants have closed down, only drive-thrus are open, the parks have closed, businesses have closed. It's very isolated. Even when, if I go for a bike ride outside, I don't really see very many people on the road or anywhere. People are staying home, which is good. That's what everybody wants so that we can kill this virus. How about you, Angela, in Australia?
Yes, for me personally, it's not too dissimilar to my lifestyle right before the virus happened, because I was still recovering from cancer and not working and being home a lot. The first impingement on my freedom was not being able to go to the store to get my little food items that I love. And because I'm at high risk, I have to stay at home. And I had to, for me, it was like, I remember 2 incidents that I couldn't go out to a social event that I was putting all my expectation into, because I've been at home a lot and I don't go out much, and I had to give that up. And it was a bit of you're recovering, but you're not allowed to. I got a bit of resentment about that. And then the second one was, you can't go out to the store and get the things that you like. And I had to give that up and rely on other people and not get the things that I like and have substitutes. And I thought, you're a very entitled first world person. You can, you've got this entitlement about, I want my, no yeast rye bread with kibble and blah, blah, blah. and I can't have it. And you have to get the sourdough with the extra blah, 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 wheat or something I don't particularly like. And I just thought, wow, it's come to me worrying about what bread I'm going to eat and, give us this day our daily bread, the old prayer.
Yeah.
So I've been having a few dreams about bread, and I'm going to explore what that means more deeply, but it's an interesting thing where even in the Bible it says man cannot live on bread alone. What does your spirit need? So actually I've been having a bit more time to work more on my spiritual practices, which has been something I've always done when I've been home, forced to stay home for periods of time. And more what I'm noticing is that there's a general sadness around me. A lot of people feel sad, and in Australia we have so many people unemployed. I don't want to get emotional, but it's very hard to watch people have their lives turned upside down, and there's long queues outside the social security or the unemployment centre here. So watching that's been very, very traumatizing, because it just makes you feel like a lot of us collectively can't support themselves financially, and I'm not in that situation. So it does create a feeling of sadness that people have to go through that. So fortunately our government's doing something about it, but it's just scary for people to go through financial difficulty.
Yeah, and fear can cause a lot of different emotions within us. And it's the time now for us to come together and help each other the best that we can.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, go ahead, Angela.
No, I was going to actually ask you, Patti, about what you were going to share about how to take care of yourself in these times.
I feel that this is probably the most perfect time for us slowing down and taking some self-care or me time. Even the things you have been wanting to do around your home but didn't have time or energy to do because of your business and work life demands. Getting that extra sleep really, really helps. Just to take that time now where you don't have pressing demands on you and get some extra sleep. Try to exercise at least 20 minutes a day in some form. There's all different ways you can exercise at home. It doesn't have to be at the gym. I've seen where people do videos on their own Facebook page where they're dancing and trying to get other people to dance. Taking a bike ride, if you have a bike, or just going out and sitting outside in the sunshine. Just get up and move. Whatever you like to do that for at least 20 minutes. It will help keep you not feeling sad, just getting your body moving. Spend time in prayer and meditation. That will help calm you and help with if you're having anxiety or being fearful. I like to listen to relaxing music. I'll just turn on relaxing music in the house and it seems to calm everybody, even the cats. My cats as well. Do something creative: painting, sewing, scrapbooking, drawing, photography, crafts, or writing. Angela's going to talk later about journaling. And I've already said this, but go for a walk or a bicycle ride if you can get outside. Sit outside and listen to nature sounds and look up at the sky. Is there clouds or is it solid blue? What does it look like if the weather's nice and you have backyard or patio that you can go out to. Read books you have on your shelf or your iPad that you haven't had time to read. That is something that I have all these books. It's time to read them. Take an online course, something you've always wanted to learn. They have lots of free online courses out there on every kind of topic and interest that you may have. Angela, what do you have?
This one I used to practice when I was getting up earlier. It's getting sunlight on the crown of your head. So if you can go outside, it's really good to get that sunlight at around 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, I'm not an early riser anymore. So what I do during the day is I open my window in the house, and we don't go out in the middle of the day in Australia because the sun's too strong, but I'll get that sunlight around noon and I'll feel it on my body. I might not get it on the crown directly, but I imagine that it's actually coming into my crown, and I've got the window open now, so I'm getting as much sunlight as I can through the window. And sometimes I also shower and imagine the water is putting light on my crown. So from a spiritual point of view, what that does is just it enlivens you to your own spiritual nature. Even if you're not feeling great, you can always change that energy, and you can just use your imagination to literally get that light coming into your body, and especially through the crown. And
that's the top of your head, right? The crown is the top of your head.
The top of your head. So the sunlight on the top of the head affects the pineal gland, and it does regulate your hormonal cycles. Me personally, I do a lot of dreaming now between 6 and 8 o'clock. So usually I'm dreaming, and I do a lot of my dream work at that time, and then I do meditation. So I don't always get outside. And the other thing is I check in with my body a lot. So sometimes I just, I just sort of check in what's going on with my body, so I can see if I'm picking up energies from other people. Maybe I'm picking up sadness from watching the TV and the news. And I just let that go, and I breathe it out my body. So I can not always feel that perhaps what I'm feeling is my stuff. It could be that I'm actually just too much involved with the other people around me, or the energy of the society in general at large. And that's not always necessarily my stuff to take on. If it's people that in my household that I'm picking up, then usually I work out if it's my business. It's a simple question that I ask: is this my business? And if it's yes, I ask if I can just send them some support, which could be just as simple as wishing them well and sending them good thoughts. And I look at how I can change the dynamic in my household that way. And you've got some other ones too, Patti, from listeners.
Yes, a listener sent us some tips to share from CBS this morning on mental health coping strategies. And the source came from National Alliance on Mental Health Code. So I'll read them now. Be mindful of media consumption. Take care of yourself and find ways to address stress. Eat well, exercise, get good sleep, and connect with others. Eat 3 healthy meals a day. Don't graze. Seek help when needed.
You know, that's really interesting with the eating. I just wanted to add that piece about the eating, because I've actually reduced my eating, and I think it's because I'm doing more self-care. I don't need to eat as much, and I just have normally I used to have snacks between the 3 meals. I'm not doing those snacks, but that's because I'm doing a lot of self-care, and it's amazing how that reduces your appetite. Yeah.
Do you feel that it also is calming to you as well? You feel more calm?
I would actually even go beyond calming. It's like I'm using my energy in a more efficient way. So I'm not needing the calories.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not wasting my energy. I'm using it more efficiently to either meet my needs and to serve my spiritual desires rather than just my body. Um, Certainly my body has needs to feel alive, and serving my spirit makes me feel more alive. So I'm craving less calories.
That's very interesting, Angela.
And Patti, you've got some other tips when we're isolated about how to stay connected and in contact with others. What are those?
Yes, here's some tips on what you can do to not feel so isolated. FaceTime or video chat with family and friends. Make, text them, make appointments on your calendar with them to FaceTime or video chat through Skype or Zoom, whatever means you have, to be able to actually see somebody's face, because seeing their face helps you feel more connected. Also, coloring, adult coloring or coloring with your children is so calming. It makes you feel, using those creative juices, just and seeing what you're creating and all the different colors makes you feel alive. Get out those old dusty board games that you have hidden in your closet and play them with the family, or do puzzles that you might have that are up in your attic or in your basement. Just dust them off and bring them out, and everybody can play with them. I love this. I do this with my grandkids, blow bubbles. If you still have some bubbles, blow bubbles are fun. The kids like to chase them and pop them. And I have to admit, I do it inside the house as well as outside the house with my grandkids. If you have chalk, and take out the chalk and do some quotes and make some smiley faces on the sidewalk or on your patio or wherever you can put the chalk, and just have fun drawing and writing little inspiring quotes. Go grab some rocks out of your backyard and some paint, and paint some rocks. That's fun too and creative. Have a viral meetup, Facebook, Skype, or Zoom. If you're reading a book, do a book club virtually. Say, on your Facebook page, hey, I'm reading this book. Anybody want to join me to meet once a week to discuss the book? There's all kinds of things that you can do with your talents and what you like. Do a virtual meetup. A lot of people might join it.
That's a really great one. What I love about the virtual meetups or scheduling appointments is that you can actually start filling up your calendar with times and rituals. Some things that have kept us together as a community throughout time was like basically on a Sunday or a Friday, on a Saturday, we did holy meetings. And you knew that every weekend there'd be this special day and the whole community would come together. Well, we can do that in our own lives now, but we can do it with our different groups that we want to do it in. So every Saturday you can have a group meeting about a book or about a TV show that you're watching, because now you can stay home and watch it, but you can do it together or talk about it, or you could even start a new project with that group of people. And my friends did dress-ups. This weekend they got dressed up and they got on the Zoom and
Oh,
shared their photos of them in costume together. So it could be Halloween every Saturday.
that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
You know, if you're good at something, you can share that knowledge by doing a Zoom call with others.
Right. So all of those things that you maybe did physically before, have a little creative thought about how you could transfer that to the virtual platform. And it's the connection that we're looking for in these times. And I know that physical touch is very difficult when we don't have it, but connection is still possible through our virtual media, which we're lucky to have at these times.
Yes.
So one thing, go on, Patti.
Oh, you had a couple things you wanted to share too, as well, Angela.
Yeah, I guess having been a business owner who works from home for quite a few decades, one thing that I had to learn when I worked at home was how to create routines. So I had to learn how Mondays I did this, Tuesdays was the next thing, Wednesdays was similar to Monday, and then Thursdays was similar to Tuesday. So I created routines because I didn't have a job externally and I needed to create a routine in the house that would separate me from washing the dishes to work. And I also scheduled time to write, or time to meditate, time to connect to clients, time to do my books and accounting. So what I discovered from that period was that sometimes I would have that weekly routine and my weekend routines down, but sometimes I would just be a rebel and go, I don't want to do that today, or something spontaneously would bubble up, like a crisis or some message from my higher self to do something different. So it's really good when you get established routines down and you practice them, but to also be aware that maybe your personality or your nature, you need to actually change things up a bit, like do something spontaneous as well. And I always recommend practicing your routines for a minimum of 7 days and then to adjust if necessary to see what might not be quite gelling, because that could be a message from yourself to just say, something's not quite working with this routine. I'm missing something. I'm craving something. And talking about craving, I mentioned before about food and the lesson I had about food when I started doing more of my creative and spiritual practices and self-care. I was less hungry. So that's a big clue if you are overeating or if you're craving things, there could be something that you're missing or you're grieving in this time. It's a great sense of communal loss that we're going through and individual loss. And even for some of us, they're losing family members at this time to the virus. So all of us are going through a loss of some sort, and you may actually be experiencing grief.
Yes.
So I have a journal exercise to share to help with those feelings. But before I share that, Patti, I just wanted to get your insights on perhaps some of those feelings that people might be uncovering as they're moving through this isolation.
Well, it's really a feeling of being not in control of what's happening around you. And that can bring up all kinds of feelings or emotions inside. Anger, sadness, grief, like you said, not knowing what to do if you lost your job, or even going to the grocery store and not being able to buy what you need. People aren't people don't have toilet paper because of what's been going on, and just coming up with different ideas of how to deal with the simple things. Really stepping back and processing your emotions. And I think journaling about it, like you said, is probably one of the best things, because you're getting that out. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be mad. It's okay because it's what you're feeling at that moment. Now it's time to say, okay, I'm going to acknowledge it, and how am I going to handle this?
Yeah, and in our other podcast on being a better father, you shared, Patti, about how the family can come together to discuss their roles. Journaling is sometimes before that step, and sometimes after or with that step as well, because sometimes you don't even know what's going on inside of you. And for some people, journaling is a good tool instead of discussing, or
Yes.
both.
And it's a great way, when you're angry, to get it on paper and not take it out on somebody else.
All right. Yeah.
And say whatever you need to say and get it out without hurting somebody else's feelings. And just getting that emotion out is a wonderful way to deal with things, because you're not lashing out at somebody. You're actually talking through yourself onto the journaling, whether it's typing on the computer or whether it's writing. If it's venting while you're journaling and you don't ever want anybody to see it, after you're done, rip the pages or hit delete on the computer, and it's gone, and you've released it. It's kind of like a cleansing.
Yeah, I've even burnt my piece of paper.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And actually, one of my isolation activities, I have some writings from my childhood, and the weather's not cold enough here, but I'm going to actually burn some of my stuff from my childhood because it's just old, and seriously, it's not really relevant anymore. So those old or angry feelings, when you burn them, you transform the energy too, and deleting it just with a click of the computer. Imagine it's burning up as you delete it. Yeah. So here's a journal exercise that I'd like to share that's more tailored on getting awareness about your specific feelings and how to meet your needs when you're in isolation. And there's 4 actual elements to the journaling exercise. So you can do it in 4 steps down the page, and you can do it on a separate piece of paper, so you can burn it afterwards if you wish. You don't need to burn it though if it's not really got a lot of negative energy. And the first thing to write about is what you feel you have lost in this situation. What you feel you have lost in this situation. So we can put all of the 4 questions in the description of the podcast as well. And for this step, with the feelings, do exactly what Patti was sharing. Acknowledge what you're feeling and tell yourself it's okay to feel this way. Other people are feeling a lot at the moment too. Their feelings might be different to yours. And the more you acknowledge what you feel in this first step, what you feel you've lost in this situation, that's going to help. Just naturally, other people around you will feel more able to acknowledge what they're feeling too. So the second piece that you journal on after you've written about what you feel you've lost. The second piece is, what do you feel you need? What do you feel you need? So in this step, you find the words that meet your emotional need. I need to feel safe. So keep in mind that if you need toilet paper, what is the need? I need to feel what? Get rid of anxiety? I need to not go crazy? What do you need emotionally? We do have financial needs too, but what do you need the finances for? Then the third piece that you journal on is why. Why do you need this? So why do you need to get rid of anxiety? And this piece here is going deeper into understanding why you need what you think you need. The reason we do this step 3 and why is so we can go deeper and deeper. Often what we think we need, so earlier I mentioned I thought I needed my first world comfort of having yeast-free rye bread that's naturally processed. And that's a very superficial need. But when I went into why I felt I needed the bread, I actually understood I just needed to have choice. I wanted to have choice. And when I looked at step 1, I felt I had lost freedom. So I just acknowledged I felt I'd lost freedom. And when I got deeper into why I felt this need for having choice, I just really started to understand it wasn't really that important. So the 4th step is going to help you perhaps deal with realizing how important this need is. Step 4 is, how could you meet this need? And step 4, how could you meet this need? For me with the bread, I just really realized, well, I could just get my friend to go to the store, and if the bread isn't there, I'll tell her what other breads to buy for me. And in step 4, how could you meet this need? You can look at some of the strategies that we've shared today in the tips. We've given you a long list about reaching out for support, about asking people to help you, about creating different creative ways to meet your need. But you might also realize in the 4th step, how could you meet this need, is what I started to realize in why do I need this with the bread? Oh, it's not really actually that important. You might start looking at creating another option. And you might realize that, for example, when I did reaching out to my friend to go to the store, by just reaching out to someone, all of my needs got met. I instantly had connection. My friend felt great because they could help me, and I didn't need to worry about not having that bread at all. I just had a different option. So how could you meet this need? Sometimes for an introvert, it can be difficult to reach out to people. So I really understand that I was not very good at verbalizing my needs. So sometimes you can send a text to someone, and if you're very sensitive, you can use telepathy. Just start thinking about how you could meet your needs, because I know some people are shy, they don't feel comfortable asking for help. So just start imagining it, visualize yourself, or send that message out to the universe or to a friend or a few friends, and send it with positive energy, or send a text. Hey, I'm not sure if I feel okay, if you've got the ability to text someone. But I know for some people you might not have people out there. So start with visually sending out the message, I would really like some help. I would really like some help. And what you will notice in our community now, I saw something on the television last night that different support groups are being set up to get food boxes to people. So there are support services out there, but if you're an introverted person, you may struggle reaching out for that. But you may see on your news media or on Facebook or somewhere that there are support services popping up because people are responding to the needs that people have in the community. So that's going to help you get over your shyness to go out and get help to meet your needs. So that's the 4 steps there. I'll just review them briefly again. The first one was what you feel you have lost in this situation. Number 2, what do you feel you need? Number 3, why do you need this? And number 4, how could you meet this need? And we'll put those 4 things to journal on in the description. So Patti, you have... Yeah.
Very good advice.
Thanks, Patti. And now, Patti, you have a prayer to share with us.
Yes, when I'm feeling sad or anxious, or just feel like I need additional support, I will pray about it. So I wrote this prayer, and it's called the Prayer of Hope, and I'd like to share it with all of you. Dear Lord, please wrap your love around the world during this coronavirus epidemic. Please bring us a miracle to heal the sick, stop the virus from spreading, and destroy it. Amen. I'll share this prayer of hope in the meeting notes as well, and in the podcast notes as well.
Thank you. I just got an image of the world, actually, when you said wrapping your love around the world. And it's pretty powerful what we're experiencing at this time. So there's also, if you're interested in healing, my teacher, Tony Barton, is doing a weekly healing on Thursdays in New Zealand time. And I can put that link, I think, in the description as well. And I will also once a month be doing a healing topic in my YouTube channel, The New Energy Body, which is specifically about, in these times of change that we're moving through, how do you upgrade the energy in your body, in your organs specifically, and the chakras. So that will help you start to process some changes that we're all moving through as a planet, and also get you more intimately aware of how your body works and how it can move with the times. The times are changing, and how do you integrate joy into your body? I use a lot of play as well, and this coming month in April 27th in Australia, I'm going to be looking at the lungs and how you take in life. So check out the New Energy Body if you want to look at some healing to upgrade you and lift you up in these times.
Angela and I would like to thank you for listening and supporting this podcast. Please subscribe, share, and leave a positive review.
Thank you for listening to Building Better Relationships with Angela and Patti.